my little ghetto thing.
Hey guys, Key here. I'm back with another video. So excuse me, house. We just moved the house not too long ago, like a month ago, but you know, you still gotta give it time. Today I'm coming to you guys with the labor and delivery story of baby girl. As most of you guys know from the previous videos before, I went through a lot with her pregnancy. I had to have a cervical cerclage because my cervix was opening at 20 weeks. So at 23 weeks, I had to get the emergency cervical cerclage. A little loud because my son is in there watching stuff. I don't want to get copyrighted, so but at 23 weeks, I had to have the emergency cervical cerclage, and then I didn't get it taken out until 36 weeks, and then I had her at 37 weeks. But I'm going to tell you guys how I put myself into labor on my own, and then also my labor and delivery story all in one, or maybe I'll just do one and do the other. So, like I said, as you guys know, we're at home, so don't worry about her having a hat or a glass. Mittens on her hands. She don't scratch her face. She don't do any of that. We just be chilling. She's kind of spoiled now because she's a month and 2 days. She's actually woke. Let's see. Here she got milk mouth. She got milk mouth, but I'll insert a picture. Okay, so 36 weeks. Went to the doctor. Basically, nothing was happening. Stuff was happening when they took out my cervical cerclage. I'll start there. When they took my cervical cerclage out at 36 weeks, I ended up being 2 centimeters dilated, and no, 3 centimeters dilated. She was at her head level was at a 0. I'll insert a picture so you can know that she was like super low, so she basically ready to come out, and I was 80% E-face when they took everything out. When they took the cerclage out, I was 80% E-face. I was 2 centimeters, and her head was at a 0, which is the lowest of the low, because then it started getting negative from there, and then that's negative or positive, and then that's like when her head is like basically out. So at 36 weeks, I found all of that, and I went for my 37-week appointment, and it was still the same thing, but I ended up being 100% E-face, but I was still at 3 centimeters, and she was still at a 0 for her head, of course, because nothing's happening. So basically, at 37 weeks, almost 38 weeks, I took the Midwives Brew. I'm gonna tell you guys about that. I'll insert a picture somewhere in this video, letting you guys see like the ingredients and all that stuff. And I heard that the Midwives Brew was actually safer than just taking castor oil. I was gonna do castor oil, but I heard that castor oil like sometimes can mess up the baby's heart rate and things like that. I didn't want that to happen, so I did watch a few videos, and a lot of ladies were saying that basically they got the okay from a doctor to do the Midwives Brew. So I did the Midwives Brew, I want to say around like 11 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock. You make the drink, basically the ingredients, get the right ingredients. You're going to, I should have recorded all this, but I didn't. I took it with my cousin because she was a week ahead of me. Yeah, a week ahead of me. Yeah, she's a week ahead of me. So we basically took it at the same time as we try to get these kids out. So I took it at 37 weeks. I took it at around like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And then because I was doing everything. I was doing bouncing on the ball, I was walking, I was doing everything in the book, and nothing was happening. So, and I was having contractions beforehand, but they wasn't like, they said labor contractions, like contractions that you know you're in labor. So basically what ended up happening, I took the drink and I was bouncing on that bouncy ball. Now I want to say like an hour later, I started feeling contractions, So I downloaded the contraction calculator app, and basically that you track your contractions, and it basically tell you if you need to go to the hospital or not. So after about 3, 4, 5 contractions, it basically told me to like get ready. You're about to go to the hospital, pack your bags. So once I got the one that told me to go to the hospital, I waited like, I want to say like 30 minutes after, and everything started getting more intense. So I was like, okay, we gotta go, because I knew that I was already like 100% effaced. I was at a 0, her head was at a 0, and I was 3 centimeters. So I was like, okay, let's go to the hospital, because I've been to the hospital maybe about 3 or 4 times before that, and they were just sitting home because there was nothing happening. So we packed her back. We packed our stuff. We didn't want to pack our stuff because we knew that they were probably just gonna send us home. So we just packed a little bit of things. It told him to have his game. You know, dudes always carry the game with them. So when I got to the hospital, I called the place where I was having my child, where I was having her. And I basically told them, like, I'm having contractions. They're coming at that point, they were coming like every 3 to 4 minutes, but they were lasting a minute. So that's my son. He's in there playing with this. My little sister's in there, so he's in there playing with his auntie. So he's not unsupervised. He's in virtual learning. Period. But what am I trying to say? I lost my train of thought. We got to the hospital, and they put you in a room before you actually go to the room where you're about to have the girl, where you're about to have your baby, to basically see if you're actually in like real labor or not. So I was in there, and when I got to the hospital, mind you, I told you I was 2 centimeters before. When I got to the hospital, I was 5 centimeters. So in the time of the last appointment in the Midwives Brew, I ended up being 5 centimeters. So they seen that I was progressing and my contractions were coming very frequently. Still, they transported us over to the room. Sorry, I'm looking outside. It's really nice outside. It's like gloomy, but it's like really nice outside. So we got to the room. They hooked me up to everything, and I told them I want an epidural and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna put all this in one video because I don't feel like editing 2 videos. So I told them I wanted the epidural, basically, and that was the worst decision of my life. That's probably the worst decision I've ever made when it comes to like anything with having kids or anything like that. The worst decision I had on my son, but it wasn't that bad. So basically my contractions were coming I'll skip over the little in between part because I had her, I would say my active labor from when I felt the contractions coming like constantly and having her. It was about 3.5 hours. So it was time in between there. My contractions were coming. I was breathing. They were intense. Like, only thing you really have to do when it comes to contractions is just make sure that you're breathing. And the only reason why I know that is because I went to mommy and me classes with my oldest sister, had my nephew, was pregnant with my nephew, and then also I had my son. So what I took from the mommy and me classes with my sister, I transferred over to my son. So it kind of helped me with this pregnancy as well. If I'm talking too fast, I'm really trying to get through this video. If I say I'm a lot, y'all. But it was progressing, but it made me like be bent over in like the straddle position, and I was on top of a ball just to get the contractions rolling and all that stuff. I ended up getting an epidural at that time, and I want to say that the lady that did my epidural really fucked my epidural up. So, and really, I really didn't need the epidural, but I just didn't want to feel the pain of her coming out of my vagina. So that's what it was. Okay, so she's asleep actually right here. But I was saying, I took my hand to the epidural that I got. The lady didn't get it. She poked me once, She didn't get it. When she poked me the first time, it actually hurt it. So I should have stopped her there. So she went in again, couldn't get it. She went in the third time and got it, but she went higher. And I didn't feel the contractions, but I felt her coming out. And as I was pushing her out, it was like the last push, like just get the head out. And I told my boyfriend, I was like, I'm not supposed to feel this. She did my epidural wrong. I was crying. So when she came out, they asked me if I wanted to hold her. And I was like, no. Because I sat there and I was just in shock. Like I literally sat there for like a minute. And I was just in shock because of the pain of her coming out. Not the pain of the contraction, just the pain of her like coming out and stuff. It was just not a good feeling to feel. And that's the only reason why I want the epidural. So as far as the staff and everything is good. It's just the experience with the epidural and everything as far as me recovering was fine, besides the fact that because I had a botched epidural. I call it a botched epidural. Because I had a botched epidural, I ended up getting spinal headaches. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the first person to experience this, but it's like migraines times 10, because I get migraines and those headaches were the worst. I had to keep my head elevated a certain way. If not, then you will feel the headache. Like it would make me nauseous. Like I wasn't able to be a mom. So that kind of made me emotional and kind of, because I was dealing with that for. I had her Wednesday. I went home. I had her Wednesday. I think I went home Thursday. No, I went home Friday. No, I went home Thursday because she ended up having a doctor's appointment Friday. And then Saturday I had to go and have a blood patch done to get the spinal headache done. What are you doing? To get the spinal headaches gone and away. So basically the procedure is they taking blood from you and they're actually just patching up where the spinal fluid is coming out at, because the spinal fluid coming out is what's causing the headache. So I had to have that done, and mind you, already before my back was hurting. So if I had that surgery, my back was hurting even more. So now I'm experiencing like really bad back pains when it do come, and it's like throbbing, really bad back pain, and that's just from the epidural, and then the extra procedure that I have after everything went down with the epidural. So with that experience, if I didn't plan on having any more kids, I won't get an epidural because I really don't need it. I have a good amount of pain tolerance, and I know how it feels now to have a kid come out with basically no pain medicine, because the only thing I didn't feel was the contractions, but I felt everything else. And mind you, my contractions were coming when she was doing the epidural. My contractions were coming every minute, but they were lasting a minute, so I didn't have any time to like really like breathe. I had to really sit there still and like really try and have patience, because I didn't want to be in pain anymore, which is the only reason why I let her do it the many of times that I did. And I really shouldn't have let her do. After the first time you don't get it, I should have just stopped and not got it at all. But I feel like I still would have had the pain, because the headache, because she basically messed it up, that one. But as far as the staff and everything was great, and I didn't have any problems with staff. When I called them, they came. When I needed them, they came. But that was my only bad experience with everything, but everything else was fine. I did about 3 pushes and she came. There go my little one. Playing on the door. There you go. But that's pretty much my labor delivery and like how I put myself into labor on my own, because I was really ready to like have my daughter, and not because I was big. I was originally, before I got pregnant with her, I was about 120 at the most. And then when I had her, before I had her, I was 150. 152 at my last appointment before I had her. And that was my original weight before I had any kids. But for some reason, I just couldn't gain that weight back. That's my story. And if you guys have any questions, concerns, or anything like that, you know what to do. Just comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And turn on the bell, please. Turn on the freaking bell. Like, ding, 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 ding. But I'm finna go eat because my dad just brought me some food. I'm virtual. She's over here virtualing, so he pays me in food. So I'm about to go eat my food, and I'm about to attend to my kids because I've been away too long for my son. I'll talk to you guys later.